Glenda's Dragons Den, where everything is wild and untamed.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Glenda, your host. This is Glenda's Dragons Den. With me today, of course, is my co-host and producer Ashley and my Dragon Wrangler LD. I want to again give my sincere appreciation to our last week's special guest, my good friend Shiatsu Master Renard Cohen, and to everyone who listened and participated. Please keep those comments coming in. We'd love to hear feedback. We'd love to hear from you. And
it's pretty exciting. Last night we had a really fantastic launch event. It was like a networking kind of showcase, open mic for a new magazine called Heart Magazine. Mm-hmm. It's like a fashion lifestyle magazine. So we had a lot of really cool artists come through. And, you know, just an excellent opportunity to promote.
Yes.
And I had a fantastic geeky show on Thursday for Geeked Out. We talked about video games and anime. We had a nice little lively discussion about how Spider-Man Homecoming maybe wasn't the best Spider-Man, and there was a lot of contention and maybe a little bit of yelling, but nothing aggressive.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah, just a little. Just a tiny fraction.
Okay. All right. That's good. LD, how was your week?
My week was wonderful because I get to spend it with you.
Nice.
That was smooth. That was smooth, right?
Smooth.
Yes.
See, we don't need canned applause on this show. But, and I also was able to attend the launch party yesterday. It wasn't really...
He was the door dragon.
Yes. I was the dragon wrangler at the door, making sure that only the good dragons got in. And all we had was good dragons, but we had 50 of them. We had a heck of a turnout.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
congratulations, Ashley, on that promotion.
Thanks. And congratulations to all the crew that were in, Snow, everybody else. I can't remember everyone's names because my brain is still fried. I didn't even drink anything. I was just sitting at the front desk, and my body's destroyed. And I don't know why.
Well, I mean, you were here at 2 in the afternoon, so that was the start of a 10-hour day at least. But
yeah,
it was a great time, and I enjoyed myself, and that's really all that matters. We have a show that I'm really excited about today, and before I throw it back to Glenda for intros, I do want to put it out there that although Glenda and I do freelance investigations, we both had our own teams, and we've both done investigations apart, not just together. We have never affiliated with this team by happenstance in the past. So I don't want anyone thinking that we have brought this team on here because we have any prior relationship with them. I think the extent of the relationship was that Glenda had a short chat with Johhny. I've never really met either of them in a social situation. So I just, there's so much collusion and coercion in the paranormal field as it is. I wanted to set that record straight right from the get-go. And that being said, I throw it over to my lovely better half. Glenda, would you introduce our guest, please?
Where is she? Oh, that's me.
The other twin.
The other twin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I got it. So today's special guests are here with us today in the studio, Johhny and Liza Hotchkiss. They're founders of C.O.R.E Phenomena Research. How you guys doing?
Fine, thank you, Glenda, and thank you for having us on your wonderful radio show. We're pleased to be here, and we're honored. We are very honored.
We're just glad we could, we talked and we met, and, we have you guys here.
Well, again, thank you.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about you guys.
C.O.R.E Phenomena Research has been on the field since about 2010, and before that, we both ran and founded Pocono Paranormal Research. We wanted a name that sounded less regional, and C.O.R.E actually is an acronym that stands for the Coalition Offering Research Ethics, and then we shorten that down again, CPR. That's our own little private joke, but we've been doing this well over 20 years now because we dealt with a haunting ourselves in our the house we had occupied, lived in many, many years ago. And I just wanted to help others the way we received help at
Yes.
that point. Charlie Adams, as a matter of fact, was the one who had assisted us
Oh,
at
nice.
that point. Yeah,
Nice.
so he's one of my largest influences in the field. I love that man. He's great.
Good. How about you?
I started out the same time that he did. He's actually the one that brought me into it.
And how did he do that?
When we lived in a home in Penargil, that's how it all started. Well, for him, it did. So, yeah.
Yeah, a few years before she had moved in. We've been together since God was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we met at age 16. Well, we knew each other before that, but we met at age 16 after not seeing each other since the age of 10. And a lot happens in those 6 years, as far as bodies go, and personalities, and establishing yourself. But she moved in at age 19 into my parents' house. My father had become ill. We supported the house, but I had dealt with what we thought was activity before that. And then it just culminated when she had moved in. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it has something. Liza is very spiritual. If you want to talk about your Native American culture, your history.
Yes, I can see by the look in her eyes.
Yeah, she's not gonna. Okay.
No,
She's
actually, no, I
absolutely-
don't.
You don't. Okay. I don't.
There's not much for me to say on that.
Well, half my Lenape.
Well, but why don't you please share with us, what that background is? And because I spent 3 years on the Seneca Reservation
Okay.
in Cattaraugus, so Native American culture and spirituality is near and dear to my heart. So would you please share with us some of your experience with that, Liza?
Well, the Lenni Lenape tribe that our family was from was on the Delaware Delaware River. It's I think they still do dig up some of the artifacts in the ground by the river.
Well, they had those burial cairns they had found recently as well,
Yes.
within the past couple of years, and that was a large piece of Native American history. But my point being spiritual, when she moved into the house, it was like amping up the antenna. And that's when the activity started to really flourish, for lack of a better term. We experienced in our own home fans. We sat there, one of those round wind machines. The fan just clicked on by itself. We turned it off. How many times was it? Like 3 times in a row?
It was 4.
4? Okay, I'm close. But stuff just moving around by itself. I had built a cabinet with my lackluster carpentry skills at that point in our bedroom. And it was so bad, I put a magnet on it when I designed it, but I had to put a rubber band on it to keep it from opening up. Well, something one night was opening this, letting it go. Opening this, letting it go. You tell it to stop, it would last for a little bit. Something on our door was being banged, constantly lifted up and dropped on the front of the door, or to our bedroom, that is. Just so many things I could go through. And then I did have the epiphany where I didn't have to question with what I witnessed, what I had always asked myself, are we just imagining this, or is it something really happening? So it wasn't really a malevolent haunting by any stretch. It was just annoying. And we had assumed it was the woman who had occupied the house previous to my father purchasing it. I confirmed that later, because I had actually witnessed her the one day I was by myself. I don't know if you'd like me to elaborate on that story, or
Sure.
it was around.
Either or both of you.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, this is like Jay and
It's
Silent Bob, like I said before. It's more like Al Borland when you have your flannel on
Yeah,
there.
I know.
Okay.
Well, it's there. I have it there.
I see it. It's good. But maybe you want to talk about some of the things you had experienced in the house when I was
Or
snoring.
before the house. Did you have any experience prior to moving into the house?
No. Well, when did I moved in? When I was, I think, maybe
19.
8. No, it wasn't 19. Was it 19?
I think it was 19. You just turned 19, or maybe you were just turning 19.
Either way, I don't remember. But no, other than that, no, I did not have any experience prior to that.
Just visiting the house.
Mm-hmm. I would have things thrown at me. I used to collect the Spawn action figures,
Todd
and
McFarlane.
those things weighed a ton. I used to have them set up on one of the shelves above our bed, and this thing would just consistently pick out the heaviest one and drop it on my head. You'd get it chucked at your back side. It was ridiculous.
So it was being mischievous more than anything.
Yeah.
What about the bed bouncing? Remember that?
No.
The edge of the bed.
Mm.
You had told me about that years ago.
She doesn't remember.
I was
No.
sleeping. I know she doesn't.
Give her a
Come on.
Yeah, you remember.
I do remember.
So,
I woke up the next morning. I was snoring apparently through this. I sleep like the dead. No pun intended. Thank you. But she told me the one night she couldn't get to sleep because the corner of the bed was just being pushed down progressively and bounced. I'm surprised you don't recall that.
No, I don't. Well, so much happened in that house.
she's trying to forget it.
We can't get forward unless we remember what we experienced, though. No, I'm just teasing you. But the one day I had
I'll
dropped
close
her.
my eyes if she hits you.
Just don't arm her with anything.
It's okay, we have it on camera.
Okay, good. That's police reports. But the one day I had dropped her off at work, and I was going to pick her up after I got out of work. We worked at separate places at this point. And I was in the house alone. I came home from my job. I think I had to pick you up at 5 o'clock at the mall. And I went inside, maybe 21, 22 years old. We were married at this point. And I went into the bedroom, got myself undressed. I was going to take a shower and then whatever, go down and pick her up. So I'm in the house, and I hear popping noises in the living room area. Well, I didn't think too much of it. So I got myself undressed. Nobody was home. The two dogs, they didn't care. So I walked to the bathroom, and this house was so small. It was just the least likely house you'd ever think to be haunted. If you turned around once, you saw the house twice. That's how small it was, like 1,100 square feet. Had a basement, attic, whatever.
So, Liza, size matters?
As far as equipment goes? I was in the bathroom, and I heard cabinet doors opening and closing. And this is something I've heard before in the house. I yelled, "Dad, you out there?" Nothing. I thought maybe he was messing with me. So this continued. Then the doorknob to the bathroom started rattling, and it went in short bursts. Would stop. And then this happened 2 more times. I took a 37-second shower. I swear to God, it was so fast. I just wanted to streak back to the bathroom or bedroom, literally, and got dressed. I started putting on some music, and I felt a little better. It was broad daylight outside. Walked from our bedroom in through the kitchen area where that activity had just occurred, alleged activity. Walked into the dining room, and we had an archway that looked back into the living room. And I heard these popping noises again. I smelled a burnt ozone smell. And it was like when you cross the wrong stuff. There was little electric trains, and it has like a burnt arc smell. But that's when I saw her coming across the living room.
Oh.
Yeah, this was a profound event for me. It really was. And I've told this story ad nauseum over the past 15 years, so it's like emblazoned in my head. But it wasn't like Hollywood portrays a ghost. It's more that they're vague. They look vague looking. And I always described it like Odo. They looked unfinished from Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, if anybody remembers that show. But that's what I saw. And she would go a little bit, almost like she was being pulled on a skateboard. She wasn't floating, but I don't know. Just to even recount that gives me goosebumps each time. But she would just stop and look at me. And go a little bit further. Well, the dog, Misty, that we had at that point, bristled. So the way I see that was a control and a test.
Right.
I wasn't hallucinating, obviously.
Right.
So I turned around like a scared little kitty cat, ran out the door, and I got the hell out of Dodge. That was it for me for that night. We went back in then, but how rattled was I when I picked you up?
Yeah, you're pretty rattled. Yeah. You wanted nothing to do with going back into that house.
No, I didn't. Pre-ghost hunting days.
So that's basically where it came from.
That's where it stemmed from, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, at that point in time, I had no question in my mind anymore. People ask me if I believe in ghosts. I say, no, I don't have to. I don't have to believe in them. I know they exist because I've witnessed it.
And that's, one of my core challenges with belief and knowing. People, who have a strong foundation in whatever their beliefs are and try to impart those on me, it's like, well, thank you, I have direct connect. So, yeah.
You download from the cloud.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Sensitivity is a gift and a curse at the same time, depending upon who has it, who utilizes it, and as we were speaking earlier before the show, who accepts it.
Who accepts it?
But sensitivity versus psychic ability, mediumship, there's so many different variables. Clairaudience, clairsentience.
Well, all the
clairvoyance.
clairs are under mediumship.
Right.
So, a person may think that they hear something, and they're like, it's just whatever, and they hear it, but they hear it with their inner ear, or they see it with their third eye, or or they just get a download just knowing. And what people don't understand, it's we are all born with it. It's just that we lose it or we close up to it due to society.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that we're a little more open, people are able to speak about it and discuss it and actually open back up. And not only that, the children that are coming up, that are growing now, are more, feel more safe about it. They don't have to feel like they're going to be prosecuted or, made fun of or anything. They actually, all the kids are like cool with it.
Or even persecuted.
Or even persecuted, yes. They, my kids, when they were growing up, my kids are all very gifted. And I would have to specifically tell them, make sure you don't tell everybody you see,
You have to be selective.
Yeah.
You really do.
Right. But now it's like you tell some, they all talk about ghosts and they all talk about this. And oh, yeah, I saw one here, I saw one there. Oh, that old house has them. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, had you done that in the 1970s,
Oh.
when I was growing up, they'd have thrown you in, well,
Mm-hmm.
they would have prosecuted you, not persecuted you. It reminds me of that old joke, the psychic that ended up in jail. Did you ever hear that one?
Maybe
No,
not. There's
she-
a lot of variations to it.
Okay, maybe if you haven't heard this. Yeah, a psychic robbed a bank, and she was short, not unlike yourself, and she escaped. So the next day in the newspapers, it said small, medium, at large. You've heard that.
Yeah.
I have that.
I know you do.
Oh.
Have another one. Boo.
Thank you. Ooh. Not my best joke. It's not even my joke.
Well, you picked a great audience.
Thanks.
But we are going to want to know more about some of the work you've done, because the reason in the short chat we've had that I wanted you on the show, your team, is because in our experience, we met so many people who investigate with ego first.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
And in chatting with you and understanding the fact that you begin with respect and you have the understanding that they were there first, and you are there basically trying to come to an understanding of why they're there and what they're trying to do, as opposed to make demands and get proof for your own personal satisfaction and ego. And so I'm hoping in the next segment to get to a little bit more about some of the investigations the team has done and the methodology that you actually bring to them. Not to discount how you got there, because how you get there is, I think, a great indication of how you're going to move forward in the work you then do. But from my perspective, this classroom is about opportunity. So there is no curse to sensitivity in my playbook. It's an opportunity for you to then work into your life and incorporate into your soul evolution, or not. But we're all here for soul evolution. So, if you choose to try and pee into that windstream, then you're going to get wet. And you're going to then frame it as a curse. And very briefly, before break, I was at a public investigation down in Bethlehem.
Okay.
And I did the ghost walk in Bethlehem. And the guy was talking about the evil ghost in the dormitory that scared the poor girl and then tried to collapse the bunk bed on her and kill her. And I said, well, my understanding of it is that ghost, the only way to protect her, because the ghost knew the bunk bed was going to collapse, was to frighten her so she got off the bed and didn't get killed. How about that? He said, I never thought of that. I said, yeah, most people don't. And with that, I think it's time for break.
You think so?
I'm not the engineer. Choo-choo, Charlie.
struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo, man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, Caesars, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ann, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. That's 800-470-1834.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contract. Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare guaranteed. With our guarantee and transfer service, you'll never pay another timeshare maintenance bill again, and your contract will be terminated. You can begin saving today, even if you've tried another company to get rid of your timeshare. Call and see if we can help. At Resort Release, we only accept payment after an agreement has been made to get you out of your timeshare. Make this completely free call and learn how this honest Midwest-based company can help anyone, anywhere, legally get out of their timeshare nightmare guaranteed. Call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Attention, this important consumer alert is brought to you by Annuity Action Network. Hey, did you know it's possible to receive upfront money from your monthly settlement payments? It's true. If you receive monthly payments from an annuity or a structured settlement and you need a lump sum immediately, then you need to call Annuity Action Network. With your cash today, you can pay off credit card debt, pay medical bills, fund your education, or improve your home. You don't need to wait. Call the Annuity Action Network now to get your fast cash with no hidden costs. And if you call today, we'll even send you a $100 cash gift card just for verifying your settlement payments and your contact information. If you have a structured settlement or an annuity and you want cash now, call Annuity Action Network right now.
800-296-1553. 800-296-1553. That's 800-296-1553. Funding subject to approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
Our special guests, Liza and Johhny Hodgkins, and I have to apologize, my voice is getting scratchy. I also want to take a second to say congratulations to my eldest son, Brian, and his now fiancee, Brianna. Woo! They just got engaged yesterday.
Here, here.
On his birthday and on their anniversary, since the first day they met was in a Devils game on March 30th.
I see how it is. He's just trying to like double up all the holidays on top of each other. So if he can remember his birthday, he can remember his anniversary, so he'll never get in trouble.
Exactly. He's a smart kid.
He's very crafty.
Hey.
You trained him well in the ways of the Force.
What can I say? But welcome back. And now let's talk a little more about ghosts and scary.
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
I don't know much about them.
No?
Oh. Okay, Raggy.
Oh, Scoob!
That was actually pretty good, believe it or not. I like that.
Well, Casey Kasem.
Matthew Lilliard, though, I can't ever spit that last name out. He can't be discounted. He was a good Shaggy.
And shout out to Supernatural for doing that Scooby-Doo crossover episode. I'm really sad that the show's finally ending.
15th season.
Yeah. It's almost as long as my kid's been alive.
Wow.
No specific correlation there from what we can tell so far. And that being said, we do have a question about the various shows that are on about the paranormal. And so, being the SOB in the room, I'm going to be the one to field that one first.
Like we have to, goad you into doing that.
All of a sudden, we're a religious show? Goad you? Is that something? Are you trying to tell people something about it? Having worked 23 years in the business of show, and that's how I've always referred to it. I was a child actor, and it's always been to me the business of show.
That explains so much.
And when you go and try to produce and put the amount of money and sponsorship into the business of show, there's a lot of pressure to produce a show. And the key is producing a paranormal relevant episode versus an episode that's going to hold the attention of the crowd. I can probably list on the fingers of one hand the people that I admire in the business of paranormal show. Johnny Zaffis, of course, would be at the head of that list. Mm-hmm. Brian Kano is on there. Mm-hmm. But it's a very short list. And it's a short list because anytime you go out as a professional and do an investigation and there's a palpable you're feeding into it. And as a professional, you have to be prepared for whatever you encounter. That kind of runs counterintuitive to the production value of a paranormal show. So I'm not saying I won't ever be part of a paranormal show, but I will never produce a show that pretends to be a legitimate paranormal expose that is hyped or recreated in the sense that you don't say this is a recreation. So with that, Liza, how do you feel about it?
I'm not. I don't. I think I could count on one hand how many of the paranormal shows I have actually watched. I'm not. I try not to let that kind of stuff interfere or alter what we do on the field. So much of it is hokey as far as these shows go. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with that, because I really don't have too much input with it because I don't watch them.
Okay, Johhny?
Liza's right. We always stayed away from them for the most part because of we don't want it influencing our research, whether that be done consciously or subconsciously, and we're not going for that scare factor. That's something we do not do. C.O.R.E, as I said in the beginning, stands for the Coalition Offering Research Ethics, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. I understand they have to have the scare factor within the show. Otherwise, people are not going to watch it. If it's pure, you can't call it pure science because you really never can have a control on a test in a field such as this. However, there still has to be some kind of realism behind it, and if the realism is there, the audience goes away. Many, many nights we sat in places and it was, no pun intended, dead. We've been on, that said though, we've been on 2 episodes of Ghost Detectives. It was season 6, episode 5 of with Bob Christopher. I love the guy, a wonderful man. He's the producer of the show, and he also is the lead investigator. And also season 6, episode 5 was the Shawnee Inn, and season 8, episode something, I'm going to say 4 or 5, I forget off the top of my head, was a regional winery, which I won't mention for privacy's sake. But if you look it up, you're going to see it anyway. That was nice. It was good. And you know what? Some of the show, and Bob, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but some of the show was boring. But that's okay. Right. Because he wasn't making stuff up. And that's what I respected the most about his show. Did it receive the best ratings? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I was happy with the results.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, you're going to be sitting there in silence, usually far more than you're going to be active. You brought up something I just want to touch on briefly, subconscious bias. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't even have a clue what subconscious bias is. But as people that have led teams, I think you and I are both very aware of how you can plant some kind of an expectation. And then the history of that individual will find a way to enhance that to meet their own personal expectation. And in the field, that's something that is very challenging to manage. I have my way of managing it, which basically is I tell my team as little as possible and do as little research as possible prior to investigation, because that creates that expectation of what I'm going to encounter. I certainly make sure that the team is aware of anything that might be a potential cause for harm. Mm-hmm. But I tell them as little as possible. I tell them not to speak with each other about what they're encountering going in. They're to document what they see in whatever manner we've prior assigned they're going to be functioning in. And then we meet afterwards to compare and analyze our own personal experiences. And when you get 5 people that are both describing the same thing, I think that in and of itself is a pretty good control situation if they haven't discussed it, prior to that. So that being said, how do you feel about that methodology, and what do you do with your teams?
That methodology, as far as the historical background, as far as that goes, I'd micromanage. So maybe we did things completely the opposite. However, I wouldn't tell them what kind of activity had been experienced wherever we were. But I would check out, you have to do the historical background. In my case, was that a little too low? Sorry.
No, it's fine. The mic was just sleeping.
Oh, okay. I would look up the historical background on the property. Just take, for example, right across the street from us, I could see it out the window, the Sherman Theater. I did all the research, found out it had originally been Fort Penn, and that if you've ever been in there downstairs, I don't know, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, the foundation for Fort Penn is still down there. So what's buried underneath there? You have no idea. Plus below that is a sub-basement. But I had to look that stuff up mainly for safety reasons. Always do a geological to see if there's any underground streams for kinetic energy. That was something else too. The Hotel of Horrors, the old lake house in Saylorsburg. That was like an antenna. They had underground streams and they had quartz created. It was emulsified quartz that was created into tiles. They used through the entire basement.
Oh.
The place, right?
Oh,
it
yeah.
was an antenna.
That's like, hello, I'm
And that's
here.
what it was. That's why when we first walked in, we heard children running across 2 floors up.
Yes.
And the place had been closed for like a half an hour at that point. Nobody was there. So that was that. But getting back, what was the original question? Oh, about the methodology. I'm sorry.
About
Dragon
how you
Wrangler.
manage unconscious bias.
How do you manage unconscious bias? You have to go in and not tell them what to expect to see. Your team members, I'm speaking of.
Right.
If each one starts experiencing, as you say, the same thing, so that's where we are the same.
Right.
But I always like to micromanage, and plus I have to look the history up for doing any presentations or fundraisers, which we've done many, many times.
Honey, how do you handle it?
I walk in.
See,
And then I do the research. Once I go in, experience, document, cross whoever I need to cross, or try to cross them if they want to cross. And then either I do the research or have actual historians do the research for me. But afterwards, I want to go in there and I don't want to know anything about it.
just feel what you feel.
Feel what I feel. Because I have been to places like in Florida where I walked in and nobody's told me anything, and I feel labor pains and all this other stuff, and then find out that was the cemetery, the section of the cemetery where unwed mothers were buried with children that died, when they were young or stillborn or anything like that. So that was the terrible section because, in religion at that time, you didn't bury the unwed mothers with the ladies. So, and they were all crying out to me. I went in there, I'm like, oh, and I'm going, oh, Moses, I already went through this. I don't want to feel it again. I'm like, hello?
You experienced
Oh, yes.
an oppression at that point, basically.
I was like,
They were coming through you.
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
See, that's one thing, too. We rely on our equipment,
Mm-hmm.
whereas you guys have that little extra special, and you go in and you do your thing with,
Right.
well, you say investigation, and then, I don't want to say elimination, but
Resolution.
helping, restitution.
Resolution.
A resolution. That's as bad as being prosecuted.
Sorry.
Or prostituted.
A prostitute is not good either.
Oil.
We shan't go there. But you know what? Should I tease that at this point?
If you're willing to pay off.
What a segue.
Yes, sir. Well, talking about prostitution, we had done the Frogtown Inn years ago. And we went in there, and there was activity. We had coins found on the floor that were not there before. I mean, totally indicative of a classic haunting. But there was a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And this is ironic because we found this information out progressively and later.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no denying with the EVP we had picked up what we were experiencing. The place, the Frogtown Inn.
Well, let me stop you right there.
Sure.
We are going to play that EVP for you in the next segment, are we not?
Thank you for reading my mind. I was like, I wanted to make sure I'm like,
It's a short story, but
what are you doing? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
No.
Ooh,
No,
Oz.
no,
Oz.
no.
unless
Dressed in
it's the
black.
psycho set.
Godmother blood. I love that. That's her favorite. She idolizes Norman Bates, which scares me because she's quiet and she wears her moccasins and scares the hell out of me 90% of the time. But anyway, I digress. And that was not a Native American slur, so because she is, like I was saying earlier, half Native American. But the Frogtown Inn, it had been a house of ill repute. It was a bar. People driving through, late 1800s.
It was a stagecoach stop.
There you go. And it was a beautiful bed and breakfast at this point, but there had been a large, celebrated, I don't want to say celebrated, but exposed case of rape/murder in room 6.
Mm-hmm.
And we were invited in by the Warrens, not anything to do with Ed and Lorraine. That's the name of the owners at that point. But we set up upstairs, and we had many cases of EVP. But this certain one that will be played later had been recorded over the static of a Frank's box. It did not come through the Frank's box from as much as we can ascertain by listening to it. But it still was a Southern voice, and I won't say what it was. I'm going to let people hear it, and I want them to tell us what they think it is, maybe through the chat room, and see if you can figure this out, because this at least confirmed to me that somebody was looking for something. They were in rape and murder. There it was.
I'm okay.
You good back there? He's okay.
I don't think anyone understands how much I love ghost stuff.
Well, they do now.
You know what they're talking about earlier about ghost shows, like wanting to produce content? I'm part of the problem. I'll watch anything. I don't care.
Later.
I know.
Stop. Save us downtown.
It can be the worst piece of crap ever, and I'll watch it. I have a really I guess it would be like a high bar for crap content. So it's like if it's really, really bad, I'm like, all right, I can't watch this. I can't suspend my disbelief this far.
So you watch the YouTube videos where you can actually see the strings?
Oh, no, I don't go that bad. But I do watch BuzzFeed Unsolved. I don't know if you've heard about BuzzFeed Unsolved. They have like a supernatural series that they do. But it's interesting because they have one guy, Shane, that is very strictly a skeptic, and this other guy, Ryan Bogara, and he's like very much a believer. And they have very wild, different they have different perspectives on what their experience is in a place. Yes. Like Ryan will be like, "Oh my God, this is freaking out," and then Shane's just like, "I'm sitting in the dark in an abandoned asylum."
Actually, the Siskel and Ebert of Schlock is a different show. With that, Glenda, you have a question in the chat room about children and what happens when children experience spirit.
Yes. We were asked, why is it that children can experience and see ghosts or entities or spirits? The reason being that children are open. They're not closed. And unless that the entity is a chaotic entity or somebody who is very upset that they're there or stuck there, children will deal with entities, ghosts, or whatever you want to call them, in a very different way than an adult would. The soul and the spirit of a child is made of love, and nothing can beat love. So when a child sees an entity, they will try to play with that entity. They will enjoy that entity, and 99% of the times will actually convert the entity from a angry entity to a not angry entity because of the love that they bring still from the other side. So it's still, their body and their soul is still completely filled with that energy. So good energy will always be bad energy, basically.
Well, the way I've experienced is that bad energy needs to feed.
Yes.
It's not self-sustaining. And that's why I was saying earlier, if you're a professional and you go out there and you really need to rethink what you're doing because you're now become part of the challenge. Whereas, love or positive energy is not only self-sustaining, but it radiates out.
Wait, I'm the teacher. Yes, Ashley. What's your question?
I have a question. Is there a risk of... Stop picking on me. Is there a risk of maybe an entity latching onto a child? Because it's like this feeding source, like it's just feeding off that energy?
It cannot feed off a child if the child is... because the child is positive. It can, however, walk with the child and be with the child and basically in the crib, be with the child in the crib. And that's where you call, you ask for a cleansing of the house and, then a person like me will go in there and try to speak to the entity and have them cross over.
That's what I was going to say when you were talking about that. I was going to ask you that, but you just answered it. That would become a spirit attachment.
Yes,
And
but it's not in It's not per se in the child, but it is how they call it attached. But it's not like if it was an adult. An adult can actually have the spirit go in them, and the spirit takes over. Because the more fear you feed it, the more anger you feed it, the more negative energy you feed it, the stronger they get. And they will not go and attach to themselves unless they are chaotic spirits. Good spirits will never do that. They will not attempt to get energy from anything. They will just sustain by themselves.
And as a sidebar,
Yes.
the same can be said for psychics. A psychic will never try to read someone without permission.
That's true.
If they work for greatest good. And that's the first thing you can do to disseminate any psychic. I don't care how popular or how famous they are. If you feel them prodding, your third eye, poking you in your third eye, and you haven't given them permission, that is to say, you haven't signed up for a gallery with them, you're just encountering them on the street, or they've come into your Starbucks for a cup of coffee. Sorry about that plug. But, and all of a sudden you feel them literally trying to
read you
or in some way infringe on your psychic space. Then right there, and I don't care what their name is and who they are, that they are not necessarily a fraud because they have the ability, but they are not respecting you as a person.
I've been in situations like that where you can feel it. When you're used to being around it, you feel that stuff and picking just that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where I'm coming from with the pressure.
Right.
But usually in cases like that, not all by any stretch, but some certain psychics will use manipulative tactics.
Yes.
And if they can figure out, they still have the gift. But
Uh-huh.
if they can pick at that brain and figure out what makes you tick or find your buttons.
And all they need is one piece of
Yeah,
information.
that's all it takes.
One piece of
I
information.
have experienced that twice I can think of in the past 20 years.
And when we met, I asked you for permission.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
First
did.
thing I said, do I have your permission? And you came to me.
Yeah.
And I still said.
And we will be discussing that in the last segment. So, we're kind of jumping ahead of ourselves. But there's actually someone who I like to refer to as the psychic snitch, who will ingratiate themselves to people in leadership roles by simply telling them everything about everybody in the room, digging up dirt, not necessarily creating dirt, but digging up dirt that isn't really germane to any given situation, adding their own little spin and twist to it, and then trying to promote their own value.
Well, there again, just like the ghost hunting, it's the wow effect. Like, how could they possibly know that? Well, they have a gift. They have a connection to the Akashic.
Exactly.
Or they're remembering the future, as I like to say about people that are seers or fortune tellers.
Right.
That's the best way to describe that, too, I found over the years.
Mhm.
It's just remembering the future. People go, oh, it makes sense then.
Right.
But, yeah, it's that wow effect. Just like with the shows, and everything is an entertainment value at that point. And you have to watch. You really
Yes.
do.
You have
And to wrap this piece of it up, what's the best way for anyone to be able to discern if someone is of that ilk?
You're asking me that?
Sure.
With me, it's more over a sense of, hard to describe, it's the vibration you get from them. In my case.
Okay.
And because if I didn't think you guys were good people, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right.
And that's where it comes down to. And there's certain ones you meet, and it's like, ooh, it just feels like a crumpled up piece of black paper. If that's a good way to describe it. Am I hitting some?
Yeah.
I've experienced that many times over the years, but that's the best way. Just go with your gut feeling, because your gut feeling is your psychic center. And people don't get that. They don't understand that.
How about you, Liza? How do you discern if, even if you're seeing someone on TV, whether they're someone that, is practicing for greatest good or someone who's trying to use it?
Moreover, see, I'm not very endowed psychically in any way, shape, or form, but moreover, I have just gut feelings about people, certain people. Well, I'm not a people person either, so it's
People do suck.
Yeah, they do.
$5, same as downtown.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We're not endorsed by the red light district. Stop.
We are now.
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry, but so you use your sixth sense.
Yeah, just like a gut feeling, moreover than anything. But like I said, I'm not a people person. I'm not very outgoing. I don't talk a lot.
No, you don't.
How about you, Liza? I'm sorry, Ashley.
How do I?
She's paying attention.
She is.
All right, so how do I discern whether or not someone's like weird? Like I just look at them, and it's almost like their whole energy's kind of like it's this greasy feel to it. I'm like, I don't like you. I don't know what it is, but I don't like you. I just know.
What are you trying to say?
I don't like you. Well, that's why I was trying to not look at you when I said it, because then it would give the the idea that I didn't like you. I'm like, I don't like you.
Yeah. Sell that to somebody's body. So, before I throw this to Glenda really quickly, for me it's ego. Mm-hmm. The more someone is trying to convince you that they're as great as they think they are, that's the best way I could put it in a nutshell. Honey, what do you got?
Sure, why not? I do a combination of things. The feeling, the gut feeling, that as soon as I meet the person. Second, if all they're talking about is me, their ego, or I got this, I did this, but I'm like, I don't care.
Got it. With that, Ashley, looking at the time.
I thought you were trying to tell me something. It's like, with that, I'm like.
I am. No, I just looked at the time and saw that time is fun when you're having flies. We are going to play an EVP in the next segment that hopefully everyone will enjoy listening to.
Or else.
Yes, ma'am. And we'll be back to Glenda's Dragons Den after a few words from the station sponsors.
A fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare.
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. 800-470-1834. That's 800-470-1834.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contract. Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare guaranteed. With our guarantee and transfer service, you'll never pay another timeshare maintenance bill again, and your contract will be terminated. You can begin saving today, even if you've tried another company to get rid of your timeshare. Call and see if we can help. At Resort Release, we only accept payment after an agreement has been made to get you out of your timeshare. Make this completely free call and learn how this honest Midwest-based company can help anyone, anywhere, legally get out of their timeshare nightmare guaranteed. Call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits. so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Attention, this important consumer alert is brought to you by Annuity Action Network. Hey, did you know it's possible to receive upfront money from your monthly settlement payments? It's true. If you receive monthly payments from an annuity or a structured settlement and you need a lump sum immediately, then you need to call Annuity Action Network. With your cash today, you can pay off credit card debt, pay medical bills, fund your education, or improve your home. You don't need to wait. Call the Annuity Action Network now to get your fast cash with no hidden costs. And if you call today, we'll even send you a $100 cash gift card just for verifying your settlement payments and your contact information. If you have a structured settlement or an annuity and you want cash now, call Annuity Action Network right now.
800-296-1553. 800-296-1553. That's 800-296-1553. Funding subject to approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo! Man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, seasons, high tops, blowouts, shape-ups, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ann, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, Eve, where y'all at?
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo! Man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, seasons, high tops, blowouts, shape-ups, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ann, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, Eve, where y'all at?
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance treatments with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Zen, this is Glenda, your host, and we're going to be answering a couple of the questions that were in chat. One was about gifts and DNA, if there was in their blood, and Rh negative factor. Has been proven that if you have O negative, you have an alien gene in your blood. And that has been proven that will help you with your gifts because you have direct connect, so to speak. So it's kind of is in addition to the gifts that you're born with. And we also have a question. The other one was from Matthew Davidson.
Well, he can wait.
He can wait. Okay.
Before we get to that, fool.
Yes.
We are twin flame.
Yes, we are twin flames.
And you're Rh negative.
Yes, I am. I'm actually O negative.
Yeah, which is an Rh negative.
Right.
So being twin flame, we pretty much do very similar things differently. We have a lot of gifts. And
yes.
O positive.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Can you scream that for me?
Liza, your turn.
Well, this is the negative and the positive right there, the yin and yang.
But it's also, not exclusive to any one gene. It
right.
can go through the various generations and soul contracts, and there's a lot of mitigating factors. And focusing too much on past precedents kind of stomps on soul evolution in my personal playbook. But there's some fool in South Carolina had a question.
Yes, that fool is your son, Matthew Davidson.
And as he will tell you, he is, after all, his father's son.
Yes, all righty. Matthew, to answer your question, which was about the gifts and if they have to be attuned or anything like that, no, you just have to basically practice. Once you know that everybody has gifts, you just have to practice or go to classes like what I teach, and you get guidance as to which clair you're more specialty at, but everybody has gifts. It's like who can play an instrument, and then within that, who can play what instrument? Because not everybody can play all instruments because you're just not you're not drawn to that particular one. But you all play in a whole group. You all play instruments. So, and yes, you could get Reiki attunements, and that anything that's energy work will only help you to upgrade your gifts. But they don't have to be necessarily separated, or you have to do it.
But do be very cautious about who you work with. And that being said, I'm going to give a plug to GLENDA'sDragonsDen.com, where if you want to get in touch with Glenda and find out about some of the things that helps her to do what she does, that is a good gateway to Glenda's Magical Creations. Got it right!
Very good.
We don't need canned applause in this show. And some of the other things that help support Glenda in her work. And that being said, I want to ask you guys, what do you charge for an investigation?
Nothing. Nothing ever. We accept donation. Go ahead, Ashley, if you want to.
I was going to say, nothing, tra-la-la, I'm done.
Tra-la-la.
I'm done.
No, we never charge. We never charge because a lot of the people we've helped in private cases over the years are not in a position to put out extra money. You know, we go in, we do what we do because we're basically studying the effects of death on consciousness. That's what this boils down to. It's the greatest question ever asked. What lies beyond death's door? Nobody can really say for certain. But if somebody wants to toss us $20, we do put that aside. And by the end of the year, usually around Halloween time, we'll make one large donation to a animal shelter of our choice. But we don't. We never expect any money, ever. And I'll tell you what, I want to tell everybody out there, if you're thinking, excuse me, of hiring on a team, if they make a request straightforward first and foremost, that's not the team you want. That is not the team you want. Now, if you're paying for a service, that's a different story.
Right.
Like a cleansing or something like that.
Right,
But
which
as far
is
as investigation,
what I do.
Right, yeah, not to discount what you guys, that's
Right.
totally a different realm. No, what we as C.O.R.E Phenomena do, we go in, I always tell people, we diagnose, we cannot heal. That's when we get in contact with folks like yourselves,
Right.
or any of their, like Catholic priests. We have a lot of connections,
Right.
but whatever their faith is and they're comfortable with, then we'll make the connection. We never promise to get rid of anything because we can't do that.
And again, I just want to clarify, we cannot heal either. Healing comes from source.
Right.
At times we are conduits and we can help facilitate. That's why we do remediation and resolution.
Right. And that's
But
that's
even
important
we
to say.
can't heal, and we got some kick-ass stuff behind us.
Right,
so.
and all we have is our equipment to go with and a couple sensitives. So I never want to make the claim, we're going to come in and get rid of your ghosts. And if any team, and I'm talking a basic team like ourselves,
Right.
ever comes in and claims that, not for you. Not for you. You get in touch with folks like this.
Well, so, right then and there, you've pretty much got the core reasons of why I asked these two on the show. Because if you do have any challenges, they've been around for how many years?
It's over 20 now. I lost count at 20.
And basically, you're going to get competent people who are going to come in, not stir shit up, not look to help somebody make a name for their book or their movie, or, they're just going to come and tell you what it is, and then if you want further recommendations, they'll make them. Ashley, how close are we to sharing that EVP?
How close do you want to be to sharing that EVP? Wasn't someone supposed to segue? We were talking about
Segue.
Quick, Raven.
Segue.
Oh, you want me to play it? Hey! I was waiting for him to start talking about Frogtown Inn again.
Let's set it up first.
Okay, sorry. All right. So reset the scene.
How close we are.
And action. Okay.
And then you started flirting.
With what? Flirting with danger. Okay.
Yes. Dragon wrestlers are full of danger.
Oh God.
Right.
So this is an EVP. Where did you get this EVP?
This is from the Frogtown Inn in Canadensis, PA. And it's right down the street from Skytop Lodge. Beautiful little country. Now it's a bed and breakfast, but it was a stagecoach. You said it was a stagecoach.
It was originally a stagecoach stop.
But it was a house of ill repute. It was a whorehouse. Let's call it what it is. Had a bar in the basement.
Ladies of the evening.
And these rooms were like, yeah, exactly. They were like 20-minute, rental rooms or whatever. Calling it the way I say it. We had done this background research on this, and
the men didn't have the stamina they do nowadays.
No, I'm sure they didn't. Not going to touch that one, literally and metaphorically.
That's something.
Boy, it's just going right there, isn't it?
Oh man, that's like dive bomb right into the gutter.
Gutter shot. But it had been a celebrated stagecoach stop, and like I said, fun times going from here to New York City, wherever. It was a meeting point. And like I said, the owners were well aware of this, and they had the same reports coming in all the time about seeing this guy and seeing a woman. Well, in room 6, there had been a rape, and a rape that turned into a murder. I don't know how you can rape a whore, really, but I mean, as far as, something like that.
Well, it would be... That now that the bad jokes come in, and this is where Ashley's going to get yelled at by the world, it would be theft of service. God damn, I hate my... It is because she didn't consent to it,
Good point. Or she wasn't paid.
Exactly.
There was no consent.
It's like, I did not ask for this.
Okay, so I'm going to take over here.
Go for it.
Yeah, you take over before this gets any worse.
All right.
Give it over to me.
You got the right one. Yeah. All right. So, in today's world, we know a little more about sex trafficking. And people that are forced into it. And I personally know of one absolutely famous psychic guru, master, book author, celebrated meme quoter, who at the height of his career was forced to plead no contest to soliciting. And, everybody, well, I was a whore. Well, I don't think he asked for her credentials. I don't think he asked how long she'd been doing what she was doing. I don't think he asked her how she got into the trade. And I don't honestly feel at the moment he cared. So I am going to work on the presumption that a whore is sort of an outdated term, because even back then, people came into that way of life in various ways for various reasons that are now romanticized by men trying to justify abusing women.
Yeah.
And so...
Very well put, Larry.
Yeah.
So my point is, and I do have one, that no is no. And I don't care what nomenclature anyone wants to hang on anyone else's neck. No is no. And I kind of like the whole paradigm about think of sex as a cup of tea.
Right.
And don't force tea down anyone's throat. That being said, Johhny, let me throw back to you for your rape and murder.
Absolutely. The
Trigger warning, by the way.
EVP, I'm going to let our listeners, if you want to do this through the chat room, I want you to type out, or whatever, what you think you hear, because this is our clearest. Like I said, it was nominated for the New England Paranormal Awards back in 2013, I'm going to say, just by memory.
You didn't say it on air, so say it a little slower.
I'll say it a little slower. It was nominated for the New England Paranormal Awards of 2013, I'm going to say. But it was caught in the room where this alleged rape murder happened, and actually it was historically documented, and is kind of indicative and almost a punctuation of the history we had dug up. So with that said...
All right, and I do want to warn listeners, because some people, they react to different things in different ways. So this is a trigger warning. It's very sensitive content and subject matter. So that being said, this is the EVP, recorded by C.O.R.E Phenomena.
Yeah, it's the first time I went up to 2. If I've been watching it, it's been like 0, and then they'll stay 0 for a while, then go to 0.1, now it's at 0.2.
Yeah, the regular...
Let me try to get some. Yeah, it's the first time I went up to 2. If I've been watching it, it's been like 0, and then they'll stay 0 for a while, then go to 0.1, now it's at 0.2.
Yeah, the regular...
Let me try to get some.
And yeah, I played it twice for you guys in case you didn't hear it the first time. That was...
So, we're going to have a little contest. Johhny, you brought some things to give away, and I think this would be a good way to do it.
Okay.
The first 5 people that can identify...
Somebody already did.
Oh, this. They got it.
First,
I thought you were talking about
well,
it.
but...
That's okay. Go for it.
That's okay. I'm sure that you've got a lot of responses.
Yes.
Do we?
All right, so let's go with the first 5 that actually get it, since we haven't specifically said which one is correct. And we have these nifty little bracelets.
And I will send one of these out to
And
the
what
first
are
5. These were promotions from Johhny, when we did Johhny. And we have a lot of them left. I think I bought like 300 of them. But they glow in the dark, and these say on them, Ghost Hunt with C.O.R.E Phenomena Research. We kept these on people so we could see where they were in solid darkness. They glow pretty good. But the first 5 that, of course, gets this right, as Larry said, I will mail these out myself. You're going to have to get your address to me. I don't know how we're going to go about that. Unless you want me to give an email?
Yeah, why don't we give an email so that
Okay.
they can send you their address.
Or, okay, this is through, it's C.O.R.E Phenomena, and that's C.O.R.E Phenomena at gmail.com. And you send me your, as long as Glenda approves you on there, that you're one of the first 5, you send me your address, and we'll get this out to you right away.
Okay.
Just a little thank you for listening to us and supporting us.
And that will be the extent of their communications unless you solicit more, just so you know.
Right, of course.
Yeah, you're not going on any mailing list.
No.
We're not
No.
trying to get your money that way. We're trying to get your money other ways, but we're not trying to get your money.
I'm not sure if anybody heard that rant, but it's okay.
Well, let them clear their ears out.
So they did get, I can say it then, what I hear in that
No,
EVP?
not yet. Not
No,
yet.
no,
Not yet.
we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to it in a little bit.
Good, that
Yeah,
works for me.
let's-
Give them time to,
yeah.
because they're
They
all
tell
like
two
scrambling
friends and they
now.
tell
Like,
two friends. Yeah.
Stay
who's right? Who was right? Who was right?
Stay tuned to this episode of Glenda's Dragons Den, where we'll find out the secret message of horrible things.
Before we move on, let's play it one more time.
One more time. All right, this again is the EVP recorded in the Frogtown Inn. This is sensitive content. We are going to be replaying it again because I did see in chat that a lot of people weren't able to hear it before. So this is the EVP. Tell us what you hear. You can win a prize. And here we go.
Yeah, it's the first time I went up to 2. If I've been watching it, it's been like 0, and then they'll stay 0 for a while, then go to 0.1. Now it's at 0.2.
Yeah, the regular
Try to get some. Yeah, it's the first time I went up to 2. If I've been watching it, it's been like 0, and then they'll stay 0 for a while, then go to 0.1. Now it's at 0.2.
Yeah, the regular
Try to get some.
Chilling. And this is like, we may be giving away hand bracelets as a promotion, but this is not in a way to marginalize what happened to this individual. It's still horrible.
terrible. I mean, for somebody
Yeah.
to come through, and that we assumed was the aggressor.
Yeah.
So, like I said, some strange things happened there, and it was a nice investigation. I mean, it's always fun getting out in the field, but in the same token, as you say, the subject matter. What did this woman go through? You know,
Yeah.
it's just hard. It's horrible to even think.
Ooh, interesting. The answers I'm getting.
Really?
Yes. Yep, very interesting. All I could tell you is definitely some people got it. And I'm not going to say yet because I wanted to hear it, and
I'm curious actually to hear some of the ones that are off.
Yeah,
from
we'll
what
share them with you.
Yeah.
I would like
The
to.
chat will be available afterwards. But let's move on. You did an investigation of a geographic location very near and dear to our studio. Would you care to share that with us a little bit?
Absolutely, and I can only assume you mean the Sherman Theater across the street here.
Well, you could assume anything you damn please,
I'm
but
gonna.
you happen
You
to
look
be
out.
right.
Yeah, Fort Penn or the Sherman Theater, which it was Fort Penn during the Wyoming Valley massacres. Not to bore people with too much history here, but it was a push forward to West. The Native Americans did not like the Eastern Europeans coming into their territory. Take them around the fire, smash their heads in. Some died, some didn't. And they brought them back to Fort Penn, which is now the Sherman Theater. We've been down in the basement. I think I mentioned this before off air. The foundation for Fort Penn is still down there. You can see it. And then there's sub-basements with the sewage. But we caught what we think was the Sherman shadow on video. Liza was doing a camera check. It wasn't even that we were investigating at that point. Yeah, she's moving it around. And this video is available from C.O.R.E Phenomena on YouTube. If you look up C.O.R.E Phenomena, Sherman Theater, it's there. The Sherman shadow, as we called it, is there.
I am going to confess my ignorance. Will you describe what the Sherman shadow refers to?
We don't know. We don't know. That's what we dubbed it. Because we saw this, like I said, in her video as she was moving the camera around. It's always that way. It's just like catching Bigfoot's left foot as he's walking away.
Right.
You know, it's always unclear footage. But we were sitting on the stage in the Sherman Theater, and I want to, again, even all these years later, thank Rich for allowing us access to that, and Shane Isakowski for setting this up for us. But it was for the living room. We had done an Arts Council fundraiser.
I love Shane's artwork.
Shane is awesome. I just saw him a couple weeks ago. He's back east here for certain family reasons. And,
Why didn't you get that on mic?
Don't get sassy with me.
You liked it last night.
Oh, stop it! Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, Shane Isakowski is a fantastic artist. Shout out to Shane if you're listening. What?
Hey, Shane. Thanks again, man.
So, again, was this not known before you caught it, or
People had seen, there again, whispers of, hey, we were in a Sherman Theater for this, this, or this, we saw this, and this is how it occurred, and a lot of them did correlate with each other. People had seen shadows in there. Dark entity, I'm sure either, it wasn't residual, I'm pretty sure. It was sentient. But we were sitting on the stage, and this is after Liza had caught this little snippet that we didn't see until we got home. But we saw this sucker come right into one entrance, go across the seats, and ran back in behind in a dead end at the back of the stage. It was so solid. We thought somebody was in there just screwing around with us. It wasn't. I mean, if you want to say what happened at that point, we got up and...
We did get up and we tried to follow it because we did think that somebody else was in the theater and had gotten in or whatever, and they were just screwing around with us. And we chased it through the lobby. We chased it, I believe, down and...
We didn't see it at that point.
No.
But we were trying to find out the source of it and where it was going to.
So, did you have knowledge of it before you caught it on film?
No. Other than just, like I said, whispers. But you go in, see what you see. You don't see what you want to see.
Right.
And son of a gun, we saw it and we caught it. Like I said, it's at the end of that video we have. That was the production video in 2012 for the Sherman Theater fundraiser for the living room.
And where could people see that?
That's on YouTube. If you look up C.O.R.E Phenomena, Sherman, it'll pop right up.
Okay. And I see that it's almost that time again, Ashley. It's 20 minutes after the hour. Shall we ask Glenda to throw us to break?
We will be right back with Glenda's Dragons Den after a few minutes of commercial break.
Attention, this important consumer alert is brought to you by Annuity Action Network. Hey, did you know it's possible to receive upfront money from your monthly settlement payments? It's true. If you receive monthly payments from an annuity or a structured settlement and you need a lump sum immediately, then you need to call Annuity Action Network. With your cash today, you can pay off credit card debt, pay medical bills, fund your education, or improve your home. You don't need to wait. Call the Annuity Action Network now to get your fast cash with no hidden costs. And if you call today, we'll even send you a $100 cash gift card just for verifying your settlement payments and your contact information. If you have a structured settlement or an annuity and you want cash now, call Annuity Action Network right now.
800-296-1553. 800-296-1553. That's 800-296-1553. Funding subject to approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534, 800-731-7534. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
When I need a cut, I go to Diamond Cuts. Ain't no half cutting there. Oh, yeah. Woo, man, at Diamond Cuts, their barbers got the freshest styles. Anything from fades, scissors, high tops, blowouts, shape-up, tape-ups, and much more. Their barbers can cut men, women, children, young and old. Stop by Diamond Cut at 144 Pocono Boulevard in Mount Pocono, PA. Or just call at 570-216-4912. Ain't no half cutting there, baby paw. Yo, Stan, yo, Ann, yo, Black, yo, Light Skin, yo, E, where y'all at?
If you or someone you love suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan to receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits. so that you have low or no out-of-pocket costs. We quickly help you verify your health insurance coverage amounts for substance abuse treatment so you can prepare for immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center now. Select from locations nationwide while receiving up to $30,000 or more in coverage through your private health insurance PPO plan if eligible. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier matching service available 24/7. We help you use your PPO private health insurance with low or no out-of-pocket costs.
Call now, 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. 800-961-2480. That's 800-961-2480.
Okay, we are back to Glenda's Dragons Den, and anyone who's interested about the show, specific information, or Glenda's gifts and some of what she does, please feel free to go to glendasdragonsden.com, and you will find simple ways to get in touch with Glenda and find out about her and the things that help keep us going. With that, we are going to be doing some interesting promos. The phone lines are open. Ashley is going to give you the number, and the first person who calls in to ask about an experience is going to win a piece of artwork that Ashley is now putting up on the screen.
That's right, she had the picture.
All right, everyone, you listening? I'm going to be giving you the phone number as soon as I can pull up the right window. Pay no attention to what's happening right here. Somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, God, would you please vamp while I'm looking for this?
I know how Jackie Gleason and Art Carney felt now, you know.
Yada. So, the Sherman Theater being what it is, obviously these people have been around the block, and they are going to give their contact information totally separate and apart from Glenda and myself here. If you do want some type of an investigation or have some input for them, feel free to contact them directly. Johnny, you want to do that now while Ashley's desperately seeking Susan?
Sure. You mean the email address?
Yes.
Okay. What we're going to do is Liza is also an artist, a cartoonist, I should be specific, and she draws her own little comic strip weekly called Birds of a Feather. It's available on Facebook at Birds of a Feather -comic strip. You have to put that -comic strip in there. If you want to see her work and give her a like, please, it would really help us out. Now, as a cross promotion, we also have, and I believe you're putting that up, Ashley? Maybe?
Ashley's trying to open phone lines at the moment.
Okay.
She's trying to open Channel D. And Eureka, she's got it open. So we're going to throw it back to Ashley.
All right, real quick, guys. Give us a call. The number to call us is 570-664-0597. It's 570-664-0597.
And so the first person that calls in with some sort of question or experience to ask our guests, Hotchkisses, will actually be presented with one of these original art drawings. And Ashley will also get that up as soon as her little fingers can.
I want.
I can make
This is like a 2-year-old classroom, people.
I just like being.
Yeah, don't stop them. It's fun.
I
This is
know
neat to
it's fun,
watch.
but that's why I'm all the way over here watching the show.
That's why we're all the way over here, because it's dinner and a show, folks.
Yes.
So let me
Still
ask
looking
you,
for that
Liza,
pizza.
What is the actual direction that you take this comic strip in?
The comic strip itself is based on one bird who has two bird friends that just kind of sit and watch his antics. His name is Gilbert, and he's basically a heavy-set bluebird. And Gilbert has the wrong idea about everything. Anything he tries, he just messes it up. It just does not come out the way that you would think it would.
So is Gilbert a Jay?
No, he's a bluebird, like the regular bluebird.
But I'm saying, is that different than a jay, a blue jay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not as obnoxious as a jay.
No.
Well, that's good.
No.
But then Rupert and Hubert are his friends.
Yeah, Rupert and Hubert are his friends, and Rupert is a robin, and then the Hubert is just he's like a sparrow type. But Rupert is the only one who speaks, and he will only be the only one that ever speaks, and he only comes out with like one-liners.
Well, it certainly sounds interesting. Where can they find that?
Should I do?
Mm-hmm.
That would be on Facebook. She has a page set up. It's Liza Hotchkiss, of course, the artwork, and it's at Birds of a Feather -comic strip. If you look that up, Birds of a Feather is a kind of common phrase, but I put the comic strip in there so people can find it more readily.
It's dash comic strip?
-comic strip, yeah. Or if you just put in Birds of a Feather comic strip, I'm sure it'll still pop up. But that's how you find it, and like I said, if you could give us a like, we'd appreciate it.
And so a dash is like a minus sign.
Right, correct.
Okay, not an underscore.
No underscore.
Okay, dash comic strip. Great. So we actually have the art slide up now, and anyone who wants to call in the number that Ashley has mentioned with some sort of input for the show, please feel free. And you could, well, you will, if you bring some sort of an experience or ask a pointed question of our team, one of these lovely original art pieces. And what's the number again, Ashley?
The live studio number is 570-664-0597. You can also see it in chat if you scroll up a little bit. So yeah, share an experience. You have any questions? I know you guys have questions. You have any weird stories? Give us a call and we'll talk about it live on air, and you can win yourself a lovely painting.
So Liza, all these investigations, and I realize that your tech support primarily for these. Okay, what is your most poignant experience? Could you share that with us, please?
Honestly, that's so hard to try to pinpoint just down to one, because we have been doing it for so many years. And
okay, I'll give you two.
We have done.
I'm easy.
We have done a lot of private cases and public venues as well. I don't know. I would have to say that the most poignant one would be what was that? Pocono. Was it Pocono Pines? Pocono Lake.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The private case.
Yes, it was
Yes.
a private
forgot
case
about that.
with an extremely haunted home. We had shadow beings. I mean, it was just incredible.
converging.
Oh yeah, there had to be what, at least three? Was it three?
At least three. Yeah, when the lights
three.
would go out, you turn the lights on, they're gone, of course. But yeah, boom, they were converging on us.
Mhm.
But of also that light, that orb.
Yeah, I would keep seeing one, like almost like a red or orange LED light that would just appear, and I was in complete darkness. There was nothing. We had no light on at all. Middle of winter, and it just was quiet, and nothing was going on. There's no activity, people activity in that area at all during this time of night. And I would see a orange, like I said, LED kind of type light that would just show up out of nowhere. So, okay, well, what the hell, I'll take a picture and see what happens. And every time I took a picture, every time I saw one of these lights, I would come up with orbs, and just, it was really a lot of activity in that home.
So that being said, Johnny, same question. You can't use the same.
No, I won't, of course. No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to recount the Oliphant Mansion. Because that was the only case that sent me reeling outside. And I didn't go back in for about a half an hour. But I won't say where, but Oliphant, Pennsylvania, I won't say where it was regionally as far as the street name goes. But mansion, the family they had vacated the house, primarily for the financial reasons, but also for activity. They were getting scared by this. We went in there, we set up. I've seen ghosts, guys, okay? I've seen residuals, I've seen shadow beings. entities, whatever. I've interacted. What I saw that night, maybe it was something multidimensional. I don't know. And I've recounted this story, and every time I do get goosebumps yet. But this mansion had 2 stairwells. I was positioned at the top stairwell in between, and there was a servant stairwell, and there was the front spiral stairwell. Well, I'm up to that second floor. This had, 4 floors. You were off doing your Liza thing. She disappears on me. So she didn't experience it. She's gone. She's like a cat. She
No,
always lands
I
on her
was
feet.
there. I was there.
When I said,
yes, I was there.
Were you down at that point? I don't know. All I remember is having the hell scared out of me.
Yeah.
He was scared.
Yeah, it was.
He is Liza.
She doesn't scare. She's like numb to that. But I was sitting there for a time, and other investigators were around me. Our team members, and behind the servants' quarters, the stairwell, I saw this head pop out. This misshapen-looking head. The eyes were not glowing, I'm not going to say that, but the ambient light that was in the house, because we weren't in solid darkness, was glinting off the eyes. So this thing was solid, whatever this was. And I was frozen. This froze me. Just looking into this thing's eyes froze me. Nobody else saw it. I think, actually, Tony and Rob were talking at this point. And finally, after about 30 to 35 seconds, I came out with, "What the hell is that?" Well, I think I actually censored myself there, too, a little bit. It came out a little more profound. But I stood up.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There it goes. Your one
F-bombs flying everywhere. And that's exactly what I said. But just for the record, folks.
I am a psychic.
But you called it, dude. No, I ran over to the stairwell, though, to look down. And there's a door down there. It was closed.
Right.
And flashlight. I had my dork light on. That's that headpiece light. I always call it a dork light. So I'm looking down at this door. Nothing was there. Something had been there, but nothing was there. Because as soon as I yelled, the head just retracted. Guys, I've read about the Betty and Barney Hill case. I've read about other things like that. UFO abductions, multidimensionality, the shtick. But I've never experienced it. Here to find out later on that Oliphant has a lot of incidental connections to ancient Egypt. And also there's a lot of abductions up there. So as far as UFOs go, it has a history. If anybody ever saw what we would call an alien or some kind of a gray or an entity like that, that's what I was looking at that night. And I went outside for about a half an hour, had a wipe, regroup.
Change your shorts.
Change the breeches. Yeah, they were, no, I didn't, it wasn't that bad, but I was shaking. So, and I won't go back to that house.
So that being
Nuke
said.
it from orbit just to be sure.
What's that?
I said nuke it from orbit just to be sure.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Alien reference. That's science fiction.
That was wild. I was dealing with something I had no idea what I was dealing with.
So that being said, Glenda and I have also experienced a lot of different types of entities, and we call it remediation and resolution for a reason, because whatever we come up against, we are able to bring to a peaceful resolution. First time you met Glenda, you guys sat down and had a chat. I excused myself because I knew it was going to be very personal before you guys even got started. And I think Glenda actually wound up with welt marks on her arm that night that you observed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you're fairly confident that Glenda can do all the things that she lays claim to.
By the way, we were not in a private room. We were in a very public room, and nothing wrong went on.
Glenda, now that it's out. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Your wife is here. She's going to kill me. She's right next to me.
That's right. Kill you first.
This is a very naughty episode of Dragon's Den.
You could run.
It's a den of iniquity.
Yes.
Well, you two were over there flirting earlier. I don't want to hear that.
No.
That's usually what you scream.
God, kill me, please.
But getting back to it, yes, the welts were paranormal welts. They weren't induced by Johnny.
Right.
So my point is that we are all very careful. And I'm going to say it, we travel with archangels, or archangels travel with us, and that's just one layer of the protection that we bring to bear when we go out and do what we do. And frankly, no one, in my opinion, who does not have a very good and fortified and tested level of protection really wants to go out and stir shit up. And you didn't even stir shit up. You were just trying to help, basically, which is my understanding of the intent that you bring to all of your investigations.
Exactly.
So that being said, what do you guys do before, during, and after?
I encourage each team member to, now I'm going to mention Margie and Josh because they have not had any recognition tonight. Margie has been with us for 10 years with C.O.R.E Phenomena. Josh stopped a few years ago because of his son growing up, and like you said, life things change. But I always encourage each one of them in their own faith to protect themselves in the way they see fit. Belief is 99% of it. If you believe you're protected, you are. And, well, I will say, I mean, over the duration, we've had Catholics on our team, Protestant, Jewish, Wiccan, just basic pagan, garden variety pagan. We had a Native American on the team.
By the way,
garden variety.
that's your garden variety pagan. Okay?
All right.
The traveling gnome over there.
Well, I will say to you, blessed be, because I have not gone unnoticed of your attire.
My bling?
Yeah, that would be it. But everybody has to do their own due diligence.
Right.
We don't have one basic group prayer to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, because everybody has to do this in their own specific way.
Their own belief.
Their own belief. But I do encourage them to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to put this shout out too. If you're going to go out and you're going to investigate, don't just watch a couple TV shows and think you're a demonologist. This one gets Johnny Zappas pissed.
Yes.
I've read, he writes about this quite often. You're not a demonologist. You're not even a researcher. Start slow. Read first, and read the people that have been tried and true throughout the centuries, or at least the decades, I should say. Even back to Pliny the Younger.
Centuries.
Vlad the Impaler. But don't just run out there, because if you don't protect yourself, like Larry was just saying,
you're going to get run over.
Yeah, and like I said,
you're lucky.
Vlad the Impala.
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow.
That's the ghost that I want to meet, Vlad the Impala, like Christine.
Yeah, I've seen the Impala with that license plate.
Ashley, I'm going to pose this question quick. I don't want to waste time, but I was thinking about it last week, and I have a really speculative mind. But do you think Herbie the Love Bug and Christine were related?
That'd be interesting.
Think
but
about
like
that.
Herbie's the more chill sibling.
Yeah.
Christine
I mean,
just like
just hot-headed.
there was a bad breakup.
Yeah, she was a bitch. You know?
Actually, she was a Plymouth. But
Difference?
Yeah. There you go.
But it's...
Well, part to you.
Oh, we're definitely not sponsored by Plymouth. I'm not
But
even
Johnny,
sure they're
it's true. If you're going to do anything like this, not only you should read up on it, study a lot, find somebody that you can go with.
Mentoring.
Mentoring.
Yes.
Please, because, I know a couple of younger kids who just love to go to places, and then they call me, I had this experience. Well, what were you doing there then? Like, did you protect yourself? Oh, I carry crystals. What are crystals going to do for you? That's not the only thing you're going to do.
Carry a piece of pavement in your pocket.
Just because, you're carrying a hammer doesn't mean you can build a house.
Exactly.
It's that's the principle. But I see these kids go out and, not even with crystals, nothing. They want to go out and get a thrill.
Yeah.
And they'll go into the cemetery with a case of beer.
Yeah.
And that's called an investigation proper.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
And they sit on the grave, and then they're horrified. They come out with scratches. They come out pale as can be, and then they say, "Oh yeah, that was good."
Yeah, that was that sums up my first investigation. This dumb lady, she was trying to get the whole ghost to come back to her house.
Enjoy your roommate.
Oh yeah.
They came home with me. I was just standing there. I was like, "Hi, how you doing?" And the spirits were very happy. It was like an abandoned kind of cemetery. Well, not abandoned, but it had nobody visited.
Right.
It was in Western PA. And it was the first time that I actually felt the energy of spirits like, oh my God, there's people. I'm so happy that you're here to see us.
Right.
And it was a positive experience. Not so much when I got home and the spirits were like, why am I here? This is your fault. I'm like, I didn't do it. She's down the block.
Yep.
And they didn't listen.
Yep. That's the thing. It's like you have to protect yourself before you do it, and you have to cleanse yourself once you're done.
You're rolling around in the dirt. You're going to get filthy.
Yeah. Yep.
Saging, anything.
Saging, spraying, Palo Santo, whatever. It's just whatever you do. Your white light protection, prayer, even if you just want to take, and dust yourself off energetically with Reiki.
Right.
Whatever it is. But this is something that we must do. It's. I know that you shouldn't say should, could, that, and you shouldn't say definitely. But unless you want to be in danger or have a real problem later on, it is best to really, really protect yourself going in and cleanse yourself leaving.
I'm here to tell you, and I'm telling the audience tonight, oppressions suck.
Yes.
Because I've experienced it. And it's not a fun feeling.
Mm-hmm.
This thing starts pushing through you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know how to control this or you're not protected, it's positive, negative, it could be anything.
Exactly.
So just be careful.
And with that, let's take a moment on Ouija boards. Do you ever allow them in your investigation?
Not in the investigation. Now, we've used them. It's a form of divination.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring the hammer analogy back once
Right.
more. What can you do with a hammer? You can kill somebody with it, or you can build a beautiful mansion.
Right.
It's how it's utilized. Kids don't protect themselves, or adults.
Or adults.
I'm not going to be,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to split hairs here, but if you use it wrong, you can definitely open up a conduit. So it's not the board, it's the intent.
You're talking about all the stupid stuff I did in college.
Everybody does this in college. This is not, I'm in college right now, I still do it.
But it's not stupid stuff.
No.
And you just serendipitously
Yeah.
opened a portal that's very dear to me, which is it's the intent. It's not the board.
No.
The board is a prop.
It's a tool.
Right. It's a tool.
A tool, a prop, a focal point.
Right.
Okay? But it's not the board because you can open up a portal with just intent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not prepared for what comes through when you open that portal up, don't open the portal.
Yeah.
It's not a game.
No, it's not, as much as a certain company who produces them might endorse.
Yes. So, thank you. I'm glad we went down that pathway. And now,
Oh, by the way, before we do that, just to clarify something in the chat room, if you do use a Ouija board and you've had a bad experience, you could burn it. That's the first thing. And if you cannot burn it, you douse it with holy water or Palo Santo and you bury it in your backyard or anywhere, but it's got to be buried. And those ashes have to be buried if you are able to burn it. So if, unfortunately, you have one and you did use it again, please take them all out, burn them, and if you can't burn them for some reason, douse them. Really, put them in a bucket with holy water and then bury them.
Don't send them to us. We don't want them.
That was good, actually.
Thank you.
You scared the hell out of me, too. I was looking really intent, and I just jumped.
I
didn't know you caught that.
You
Like
notice
that-
I'm looking at
The creature from Oliphant was coming back for seconds. Like, ah!
There's no stairwell here. I don't know where's he going to peep out. Maybe his computer.
You have the Johnny-shaped hole in the walls. You bolt like
Cartoon
like
character.
Hanna-Barbera.
I'll give you your glory hole right here.
Nobody said anything about that. What's wrong with you?
Why am I seeing the character from Sling Blade in my head right now? Fried potatoes.
Oh boy.
For some reason, I just popped in my... Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so we do have some promotions and some housekeeping we want to do before the show ends. We want people to know.
I don't want it to end.
I thought the battery short-circuited. What's wrong with you? So, you do have some other pieces of artwork that you're graciously making available to our listening audience?
Absolutely.
You want to share that information?
Sure. Just, I'm going to say very simply, send me the first 5 people to write to C.O.R.E Phenomena at gmail.com. That's CORE PHENOMENA at Gmail. Send me your mailing address, and Liza actually, will draw you original piece of artwork, and she will sign it for you, and we will get that off to you as she makes them. I mean, it takes a little bit, but within a couple weeks. And that's going to be cross-promoting for her comic strip, like I said, Birds of a Feather - comic strip on Facebook. But that's what she's going to do. Now, that was up. People can see her little Van Gogh meets Jim Davis. All right, that's it. Yeah, she had done these, like I said, at the Rainbow Mountain we had investigated. And it went pretty popular there, actually. You did a bunch of them. But people enjoyed it. They liked it. And like I said, it was a cross-promotion for what she does.
All right, so since you brought up Rainbow Mountain.
Yes.
You may as well tell people about that briefly.
There had been a suicide from somebody who could not accept his lifestyle in the pool. And this was the early 80s. I know. It was a terrible thing, but people know about it. For some reason, I don't know if it was hiding, and the literal becomes metaphoric, but during the ghost tours, we had picked up some voices and things, but during the ghost tours, we were using, once again, our Frank's box, and had incredibly clear answers, coming from a little cubby hole in the basement below the main house. So, I mean, you'd ask it a question, and you'd ask it to say a phrase, like a trigger phrase, like magical unicorn, or something like that, and it would repeat that. So this thing was very sentient, it was very conscious. Not loaded with activity, but there again, we didn't get to go to Club Down Low, where they said chairs move around. We only did the main building at that point. But the ghost tours were fun. It was a fun place. Shabby chic, that's how they describe themselves. But Jason was very gracious when we were there, the main desk, concierge.
And what promotion did you do with the artwork?
The artwork, she did the same thing for them. She'd have the people come over. They'd tell her what her favorite color. Oh, that's something else, too. When you write, make sure you tell her what your favorite color is, and she'll do the ghost around that color, as you can see on the website. But, yeah, she'd draw them for them, sign them, and they could just take it home as a souvenir.
And what was that email address again?
That email address, again, is CORE, C-O-R-E, Phenomena, and that's at Gmail.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
And how do people get a hold of you? Because you also have...
That would be the same email address. We have a presence on Facebook. We left our website go because you're paying for data storage, and I don't have time to update it. So we are available through Facebook. We're available through the email I just had sent you, or just had said.
Where on Facebook?
On Facebook, we are under the same name, C.O.R.E Phenomena Research. And there is a beta team on there. The main page is C.O.R.E Phenomena Research. That's us.
Right.
The beta team is our sister team to the north of us, which we work loosely together. So.
Good. And is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
I just want to encourage everybody to please, if you're going to ghost hunt, do it safely. We said about protection, but also don't get yourself so scared in the cemetery at 1 o'clock in the morning where you trip and kill yourself. Don't drink while you're on an investigation because it leaves you open to negative energy. It brings down your vibration. When you go out there, be respectful because these ghosts, it's their due, man. This is where they live or died, as the case may be. Right. Misnomer, semantics. But you got to do this. If you're going to do it right. And keep searching for answers. That's been our slogan for years. Keep searching for answers.
So what do you think if teams go out in various states of altered reality? And
like I said, various states, whether it be drugs, alcohol, anything that makes you wacky is going to open you up.
So if they're interested in, say, being mentored by you guys, the first thing is that they have to manage to go for hours at a time sober.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We do not drink before the cases, maybe after. I'm not going to say we don't because, man, you see some wild crap out there. But, no, never before. Never before. And never with a hangover. Let me just do this. I got to say this, too.
Please.
Thank you, Taylor and Sarah. The little theme you heard, because you played it, and I want to at least give a plug, was This Way to the Egress, and they are also on Facebook. Polka, punk band, they're really awesome. But that little blurb of music you heard in the beginning before Liza and I started speaking was a song they wrote for us to use with our presentations, and it's our theme song for C.O.R.E Phenomena. And we are still very thankful for that all these years later. Thank you.
And what is it called?
It's simply called the C.O.R.E. I named it. I don't think they ever named it. They just did the the track.
And where could they find that?
That track is, if you want it, send me a copy. It's royalty free. It's mine to use, and they gave me permission. I'll send you a copy of it if you want to hear it. I don't think it's anywhere but in my possession that I've used it for.
Well, where did we get it from?
That was from the end of one of my videos.
We
Yeah,
got it from
the Sherman Theater video. Yep. Yeah, they were actually, This Way to the Egress were actually guest investigators with us at the Sherman Theater.
That's really neat.
Yeah, it was a nice little crossover. And then we did the presentation. They played there, and we did the presentation. We've also worked with the Crookshanks and Shizbop Woo Woo, the one you had said, Matt, I'm calling you out, dude. I know you were there. I know you're listening. That's Death Wish Birdie, which also did a presentation with us at the Pocono Community Theater.
Mhm.
We did an investigation there, and that video is also on YouTube if you look it up with C.O.R.E Phenomena. But Matt, Death Wish Birdie actually had Liza draw their first album cover in her cartooning style called Cake Plate.
Nice.
So I just talked to Matt a couple nights ago, and he's a great guy. Wonderful bass player, too. The upright.
So did you say that was at the end of the Sherman Theater video as well?
It's at the end of the Sherman Theater video as well, and some of the incidentals are throughout when we change scenes.
And where can we find the Sherman Theater video?
Sherman Theater video is on YouTube. If you look up Sherman, it's just Sherman Theater, C.O.R.E Phenomena, it's going to pop up. It is going to pop up.
And also look in chat for it because I'm posting a link now.
There you go. And I can post it to C.O.R.E Phenomena's Facebook site.
Something.
That's the second time I put it in.
Ow.
I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I'm not. It's opening doorways to vulnerability.
But who's got the button?
Damn it. I don't even know what that was.
I don't either, but it's got a ribbon on it. Shiny.
God.
And it's pink.
And it's pink. I want to thank you both for coming on, and I hope you've enjoyed our format. Yeah, I mean, this is serious bullshit, and
yeah,
emphasis on the serious part. There is a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot of pushback from people that think it's fun to stir up darkness.
Yeah,
and that is certainly something that Glenda and I are very quick to extinguish. There are people who have tried to use the paranormal for their own self-gain, and they have made it very clear that they are not friends of ours.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hear anyone that says anything to that end, then they basically just self-identified.
And we also do not like fear-based investigations at all. It's
you're scaring me.
Yes, I know I am. If you go into an investigation and everything is fear-based, get out, because that's how you give the darker entities energy and power to do whatever they need to do. So it's not that it should not be scary. It should not be scary. If you protect yourself correctly, you should be able to get their story without having to be frightened.
Honestly, if you're going in this as a thrill seeker, you might want to reconsider, because you're going to feed something that you don't want to feed, and you could wind up bringing about something that we're now going to have to come in and manage.
And let me add this just quickly. Most investigations, and you guys can attest to this, are typically incredibly boring.
Yes.
And only about 10% is the actual field work. 90% is the history, and you have to do your due diligence of family, psychological assessment. So,
well, I can't really attest to that, because I bring this energy wherever we go, and it's all respectful, but we like to have fun because it raises the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, we're not in there we're not getting paid by the hour, folks. So we go in, we do what we need to do, and we get the hell out of Dodge, as someone said earlier.
yes.
That's basically our methodology. If you want to get in touch with this wonderful team of investigators, Johnny, give your contact information one more time for the latecomers.
One more time for the latecomers. It's C.O.R.E Phenomena, and it's C-O-R-E Phenomena, and and that's at gmail.com, or you can look us up on Facebook at simply C.O.R.E Phenomena Research.
And for us, of course, if you're listening, you're already on the Facebook page of dragonsden.com or one of the various apps. But if you want to find out more about Glenda and what she does and how she keeps going with me on her back, Glenda'sDragonsDen.com. And Glenda, you want to tell us a little bit about next week's show, please?
Oh, well, next week's show, thankfully, is going to be a guest that we tried to have on before, but due to Mercury retrograde, we couldn't. It's the senior Grandmaster Sensei, Joe Gracia. He is a Reiki developer. He actually has his own Reiki, the right hand path Reiki. And I am, well, he was one of my mentors. Still is, actually.
Well, when you say his own Reiki, how did that come about?
He developed it through channeling, and he also presented it to the Karate Association, American Karate Association. And they were so impressed of how well it works and how he developed it and channeled it, that they that is the only type that they will accept.
So they're basically certifying
yes.
it as legitimate Reiki practice.
Yes.
And when you met him, what level of attunement were you? Approximately.
Okay. When I met him, I wasn't in his
right.
lineage.
But when you met him, you were already a Reiki Grandmaster.
Yes, level 20.
Okay,
so you were in Usui.
So you were already a level 20 Usui
yes.
in a practice where most practitioners and teachers only have 3 attunements. You already had 20.
Right.
So you can also testify to the veracity of this path of Reiki.
Yes, yes.
So that'll be an exciting program to begin with. And we're also going to have a couple guests in the studio planned.
Yes, we are, but that's a surprise.
Yeah, it's a big surprise.
Yes, very big surprise. We are expecting to reveal, Sensei is expecting to reveal something on his end, and I am expected to reveal something at my end. 2 surprises, besides the 2 guests. So
it's going to be a fun show. And again, I want to thank C.O.R.E Paranormal and the embodiments of Liza and Johhny.
Yes.
These guys, just so you know, I mean, they don't just go out and do investigations for free. They actually work for a living, and they work very, very diligently, long hours. And there's also college involved, I believe.
Full-time work, full-time college. That's why I had to give up the investigations proper for the past couple years.
Right.
I'll get back to it, though. Hey, I'm in for psychology.
Yeah.
That goes, I did that for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Is what it is.
you know,
it helps the sifting process when you're trying to figure out whether the spot's
psychosis versus true activity.
Exactly.
Well, it helps that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
You're right.
But, you know, as you know, I'm former vice chair of resource development for the Mental Health Association in New York State. So, you know, every piece of the puzzle has its place in the puzzle. And, you know, my challenge with psychology is that you have a pre-designed notion of what sanity is. And that can be a challenge at times, particularly when you go into the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's certainly a good foundation, but as a standalone piece, it's good to have all of the, you know, and be open to all of the different relevant and pursue it.
Well, that's what I said to Liza when I got into this at first. I said, I'm being shoved back inside the box to go to school.
Right.
Because I'm used to thinking outside of it. So it's giving me a different perspective point. It's adding to the criteria for what we do. But I want to say also, you said thank you for being here. I want to thank you guys for having us tonight. This was a treat. I had a heck of a good time here. I really did. Ashley, as well. Even though you threw something at him, I'm still good with that. You know?
Yeah, he gets to open my present.
He gets to
later.
open it. It's probably
I don't even know what that is.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in the cage.
Jokey Smurf. The thing, boom, it's going to blow up.
Is it ticking?
It will.
Oh, God.
Glenda, you want to take us out?
Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Have a blessed week. We send out the energy that we developed today or gathered today to everyone who needs healing out through the world. Bye. See you all next week.
Hi, this is Andrea Perrin. You're listening to Glenn.